Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast with your lovely and amazing hosts, Vladi Kuna.
Hello.
Hello, this is the positive corner of the internet, and this is today's topic. We want to touch into, is it true that you should stay positive 100% all the time, all day, all night long, 24 hours a day? Or is it okay to be sometimes mad, frustrated, fearful, full of angst, whatever you want to name and call it? Or should I be positive all the time? We thought for a long time that you should be positive because most mentors tell you that it's all about positivity. You need to push everything away. Like even myself with my approach when I had my Porsche Arena event in 2020, and the advice I received was always reply with "That's good, that's good," because very famous people did that in the past. W. Clement Stone did that. Whatever happened in his life, he always said, "That's good." And of course, I adapted that. And then you can even go further. What we also spoke about in another episode is something happens, you find 3 reasons why that's good. And said, oh, luckily, somebody bumps into your car and you say, oh, luckily I don't have another meeting today. Luckily the sun is shining. Luckily I'm insured. Find something that's positive. And since quite a while, we try a different approach, and we will see where it leads us. And interestingly, some mentors are already changing and pointing that out more and more, that only staying positive is a good thing on one side, but a very dangerous thing on the other side. And as Vladi is wearing a beautiful top with many lines, she just mentioned, oh, I'm wearing the vibrations on my chest. What are the vibrations, and what did you learn lately?
You know, I'm going to go straight. I love this because we're somewhere here and we always want to go up, right? So, and I remember Bob Proctor talking about frequencies as a line and saying every one frequency is hooked to the one above and one below, but you can't jump from the top to the bottom and vice versa. You have to be moving up,
Climbing the ladder.
climbing
Yeah.
a ladder. I will go back to Esther Higgs and Abraham because I really do think she's one of the most profound teachings on the law of attraction that covers feelings and the realness. But I just loved what she said this weekend. And she said, you cannot be positive. And obviously, she channels Abraham. So Abraham was talking about Esther, saying she does her best to stay 51%. So her dominant part of the feeling, which Neville Goddard's really all talking about the dominant part, which means must be past 50% because that's the dominant, right? It has to be bigger. Should be positive, but also I love how this journey, especially me and Norman, been really paying attention, how we were creating so much more resistance trying to be positive and forcing it. Like, we have to think positive. We have to be positive. Nobody is positive 100%. There isn't such a person on this planet that is aligned. You can call it aligned, positive, or like really high vibe, because it's just not possible. In the human world, we are here to have a journey. And if we can really find joy in the journey and not the destination, I'm not saying don't have the destination, but really focus on having a joyous, fun, loving journey, focusing on one segment, which is today. We always, guys, tell you about now. You can actually change the way you feel positively when you become more present. That's the biggest key. In my opinion, obviously gratitude and appreciation will always put you on a good vibration. But I want to start with that tangible steps we can do. And the tangible step is feel good now. Like you bring yourself to the present moment and just be aware of negative emotions too, and do not dismiss them. That's something I've done wrong. Like, I will put both hands up because it was always like ignoring them, overriding them with new beliefs. And especially as a coach, like, okay, we can't think like that. Who am I to give advice to anyone else that what they should do? We all, at some part of our journey as a coaches, fell into this trap because that's how we adopted it from being coached to a certain point. But I love what Norman also pointed out. I do think this awareness is quite active, and many coaches are really adopting this into feeling. And my ultimate personal law, which is through my guru in energy healing in Czech Republic, is do not interfere with anybody's journey. I really feel it's everyone's journey. They have to go through whatever they have to go, and you can be there for them. Be present. Tell them, no matter what happens, no matter what you choose, I am here. I don't have to agree with your choice, but I am here, and it's your choice. And I may give you my opinion about what my experience taught me about that journey, but what you take from that and what you apply, it's entirely your choice, and it always should be. So really being positive, like, I think that is the one of the biggest mistakes I've made was trying to be positive all the time, overriding the beliefs with positive ones, affirming, like I felt like a total shit, forgive my language. And I stood there in front of the mirror saying, I'm so happy and healthy and I'm wealthy and I feel amazing. And my whole vibration was saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not feeling it. And you create much bigger resistance, which means the gap between how you would love to feel and where you are is actually expanding. So you're actually moving away, far away from the lines, rather than staying somewhere in the middle. What's the best way? Just bring it to the present moment. Okay, I feel like crap. How can I feel better? What things make me happy? Maybe a cup of coffee and sitting in the garden and breathing. Maybe putting a piece of music on you, like high vibration music. I have a file on my YouTube where it says high frequency music. I only put the music that really vibes my vibe. And then I have my favorite file as well. But whenever I feel off, I would go to music. But there are very odd times where I can't even listen to music. It doesn't I feel like I can't even hear that song. And I just go and walk with the dog and hug the tree. And that makes me feel so much better. Or I'm looking at the leaves, just looking at how everything moves and feeling a present energy. Sometimes it's actually just lying down and exercising. Like sometimes it's a physical exercise that actually gets me out of I get and swim or do something that actually, so find whatever it is for you, no matter what it is, but what makes you feel better. Or maybe stroking a pet or calling your best friend, one of those who always uplifts your mood. And that it will be your tipping point of breaking that weird energy. And when you bring yourself to neutral ground, now you kick in the belief and affirmation. Now you can say, I'm so happy and grateful that I am, happy and healthy and wealthy and everything's flowing to me and everything I touch turns into gold and I love all the people and everyone in my, whatever statements you're making, you make them when you're in a neutral or a higher vibration, never the other way around, because that is not being positive. In fact, you not acknowledging that you're mad, I am so frustrated. Acknowledge it, but do not stay there. That's the key. You cannot be rolling into this and feeling this negative emotion. And even if you want to feel sorry for yourself for a day, you must make a conscious decision that tomorrow is a brand new day and you will not wake up as this person into the brand new day. And you're already imprinting this into the pre-sleep moments. Remember the theta waves we often talk about before. The pre-sleep moments are the most powerful in terms of what you're suggesting to your mind. Now, why? Because you're almost at the delta sleepy state, but you're not quite there yet. You're kind of like entering it and it's more receptive. So you're kind of like really telling. So if you tell yourself, okay, how would I review? I always think back into the day and reevaluate it. If there is something I didn't like, how I behave, not how others, you're focusing on what did I do that actually wasn't the highest self? What is the behavior I practice that it's not who I am? And that is how you go back into your mind and you rewrite it in your mind like, okay, how would the highest self, how would the best version of me really act if she had the chance to do it again? And I rewrite that story and I just go back to bed. I do it most of the nights, not every night, I'll be very honest, but I do try and think of it every night because I think it's one of the best exercises you can do. And then you wake up consciously and say, Oh, thanks for life breathing in me. That's always my first sentence before my feet touch the floor. And then just feel like today is going to be the best day. Day by day, every day, I get better and greater in every way. We have certain situations, and today I'm going to have a phenomenal attitude. And they make a decisions, and sometimes you make all these statements and it definitely doesn't happen. And you're like, really? I was in such a good vibration. Stop blaming yourself. There is a cause and effect. And it doesn't always happen just because you feel good. It does not mean there is something that you need to practice that good emotion. But being positive all the time, definitely not. Acknowledge the feeling and let it out. Just let it out and let it go and move to a brand new day, swipe the play and say, today I'm a different person. Norman, back to you.
It's really like that. If you stay positive all the time, and I practice and rehearsed it for many years, you push stuff under the carpet that should be thrown out of the house. And probably you're aware of a situation where you say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. But I don't show it, of course. I'm always shiny and happy and yeah. And I realized something when Vladi said, enjoy the journey, have fun on the way. It's so true. Isn't it the case, if you're like me, that on the journey, everything becomes normal? Vladi mentioned coffee machine, you have the most beautiful coffee machine. But after a certain while, it's just your regular coffee machine. And it tastes the same all the time. And the same with the kids, the same with the partner. It just becomes normal. Going out in nature might be always different. That's true. Still, what happened to me, basically on this journey, I became more numb to regular joyful emotions, because if you create the world how you want to have your world, this world becomes very normal and regular all the time. Now you can say, of course, I can do bungee jumping and flying Spitfire like Vladi. I do exciting stuff, adrenaline rush stuff. Yeah, but that's not the idea. You should not do that 20 times a day, because if you do that after months, there's nothing more you can do. And therefore I realized I stay on a kind of neutral level when it comes to frequencies and emotions. Do I have songs like Vladi mentioned? Yes. Do they pump me? Yes, but not always. What you just shared. It's very interesting. Same with me. Sometimes the one song gives me everything in the world, and sometimes I listen to it and it gives me nothing. It kind of even disturbs me even more. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I try to use the song to push me up, and it's like something would scream like, just stop it, trying to find something positive and something good. And with this stop it, now something interesting comes. Have you ever let it all out? And I realized if I do that with somebody else, not at somebody, with somebody, if I start to complain, it flows out of me, and this will create a lot of emotion. Yes, negative emotion. But emotions, and like Vladi said, don't stay there, go and visit. Now, if I take a moment and a scene and situation, whatever it might be, you had to pay a big amount of taxes and your tax guy or girl did not tell you in advance, and now you're in minus on your account. And you push that away and say, oh, that's good, find the good in it, yeah. But deep inside, you would just want to kill all of them because it puts pressure on you. The moment you let it out, like if it comes to me, if I just let it out, and it helps me more if I can tell it to someone. Some people are probably good just screaming at their couch and beating the couch. Might be true. The moment you just let it out, how do you feel? Yes, you feel better, right? And I want to point out, you feel better for the first time, maybe in a long time. You feel again what better means, rather than being in this perfect world where you basically feel nothing. Like Bob Proctor always said, he said, I don't get excited anymore. If something good happens, it's basically neutral. And if something bad happens, it's basically neutral. Smart way. We lived that for a while. But if everything is about vibration and frequencies and emotions, we need to get into positive emotions. And if just a regular, beautiful, joyful life does not trigger anything and it just feels like it's just there, it does not help. So use those crunches basically of getting mad and frustrated. Bring up real emotion, let everything out. And when everything out, you feel the release, you can breathe again. And this is what I changed with the music, as Vladi mentioned music. I love playing with songs on Suno. It's an amazing app where you can create your own songs. And I work with ChatGPT and say, oh, just create me lyrics. Like I give the idea, then ChatGPT creates the lyrics. I put it in Suno and the style, and music comes out. Works quite well. And I always had positive songs with only positive messages. And for the first time, I created a song where I said, I'm sick and tired of. And now everything comes that you're sick and tired. I'm sick and tired that nothing in my health, in my body, in my job, in my relationship, in projects, whatever it is, moves forward. And just be very blunt and honest the way you think it. That you say, I'm so sick and tired that some stupid people make millions and billions with crazy stuff that is worth shit, but people buy into it. I'm so mad about it. And you let it all out. And Suno created this beautiful song where it's like a live concert. And the singer screams this, I'm so sick and tired of this or that. And then the audience replies, it's great. And then in the second part of the song, it gets reversed. Then, like Vladi said, you have these I am messages. I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm powerful. But first you visit the real life where you say, I just don't understand it. I'm so mad, I'm so sad, I'm so frustrated that everybody seems to win but me. I know the life is happy, my time will come. No, imagine a rocket. Esther Hicks always speaks about launching rockets of desire. If you say, oh, I'm so easygoing, I know fame and fortune will come, love will come, joy will come. Can you imagine your rocket like in a very tiny way of speed? Because there's no, everything is happy, I'm so happy, but I don't feel happy because everything is normal. I built the life that I want. But if you get mad and frustrated and angry about the whole world, can you feel the ignition of the rocket? Like this boosts into the sky like a huge Saturn V rocket. And then you divert it. What Vladi said. You don't stay it and shoot at someone with the rocket. You divert it to, oh, what's my goal? What do I want to have? But you use this ignition power of frustration to shoot your emotional rocket out. And then you just go into the most beautiful thing that you want to have for 68 seconds. Maybe Vladi wants to tell you a little bit more about the 68-second thing, because it just was with Esther Hicks. She speaks about that. And then you just feel total bliss, and you feel this ease, like, oh, I let the rocket shoot out and now I shoot it towards my goal. And this will change everything.
Going back to 17 seconds, you know, it was so powerful because what is the picture? And when Esther was telling us, like, she kept thinking of those kids, which we mentioned in the last episode. So if you hear that, like the joy and these high vibrational, joyous kids before the parents joined. And if you can stay in that joy or find the moments, like maybe you love your pet, or maybe you did something with your partner that was just amazing, or maybe you did something yourself, like jump off the plane. You know, you can find that high vibe point of yours, which you love going back to and feeling, oh my God, you know, good old days. You know, like you feel that like, oh, I used to have fun. This is what us adults lots of times tell me, the sentence. Oh, when I was younger, I had so much fun. Well, why don't you anymore? Why don't you do the things? Push yourself to do the things with the kids. Kids wants to learn something. And I've noticed this as well. I'm like, oh, you know, like, Mommy, do you want to do it with us? I'm like, no. I'll sit this one out. And I'm thinking like, why? I'm pretty wild anyway. Why am I saying no? You know, because it's a habit. We kind of got into this. And 17 seconds, if you can hold that picture and you in it, remember, you must be in this picture. It's not that you looking at it as a screen, you're in it and you're feeling the vibration or the emotions you felt, the happiness, the joy, and you can stay in there for 17 seconds. It resets your vibrations. Now, if you can stay there for 68 seconds, you can do it even more. And Norman knows I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm not doing it anymore every single day, but I did because I am way too many things. Like I was doing, that was my thing, to learn how to calm down and don't do billion things a day. I was one of those, proud of myself that I did 10,000 things every single day. I'm completely drained. That is not efficient and successful. And so I created this 1 hour doing nothing. And for many, many months, I did 10 minutes nothing and then 15 minutes. It was crazy hard for me. 10 minutes was like excruciating, literally, to pinning down and sit myself for 10 minutes. And I've practiced myself, probably took me a year or so to actually do it for an hour. And I would do hour a day of nothing. When I say nothing, I mean you're clearing your mind. First 15 minutes anyway, your thoughts are just rushing. And it's only in the after 20 minutes, I'd say, you completely empty yourself and you're just sitting there. Find the point of focus. But funnily enough, Esther, since we're talking about 1768 seconds, she said, just don't be so hard on yourself, guys, because you don't need to do this for an hour. Now, I did need to do it for an hour because of how crazy disciplined I am, and I'm pretty good at that. I had to break it with something very strong. So it really worked for me. But she's right. We don't need to do this for an hour. You need to get yourself into doing it 17 seconds. I mean, come on. If you tell us that you don't have 17 or 68 seconds few times a day to actually connect yourself, then I don't think we're right for you to listen to anyway, because there is no such a thing as you should always find the moment. It can be on the way to work. It can be driving. It can be swimming. It can be anywhere you are. Can be even in a bathroom, where you just find those 68 seconds and just feel great with that picture, where you see yourself in a high joyous moments. I love what Norman was talking about the sadness and the madness and creating, and it's really true. Somebody was interviewing me on a podcast, and she said, what is it you always had? How did you keep your strong desire so high that it really led you into all these things you've achieved in last few years? And I kind of paused and I thought, I didn't. I had a high desire, but what always pushed me was actually the greatest dissatisfaction. I was mad or crazy or pissed off with myself that I don't have enough money. I don't have enough of this, and I don't want to be doing 9-to-5 job. I want to be creating a business. And then all the paradigms which were supporting, like, but who are you to actually create this business and that business and do this and do that? And then I need to learn this for 10 years. No, you need to be 2 steps ahead. That's all you need to do. And people say 1, but I say 2. You need to be 2 steps ahead, and that's all you need. And you will actually grow yourself as you go. And that's the thing, we go to the sad part, where actually dissatisfaction always pushed me out, because I call it pull and push effect. If you're following a little bit, I always talk about the desire pulls you, but dissatisfaction pushes you. And I really think that anything we need to make a decision, like Norman saying, the rockets of desires, you have to be dissatisfied and unhappy. You don't just sit here and say, okay, I'm feeling like this is my new dream and it's all going to happen. No, something happens that really makes us sad or unhappy that what's going on in our life. That's what pushes us out. We don't sit here and say, you know what, it's a middle of the year and I just feel like I really want to upgrade my self-image. No, you don't. People don't like a change. They don't want to change. They don't want to upgrade their self-image. They don't want to learn anything. But now you bankrupt your business. You get the disease. You have a diagnosis. Your marriage is failing. You're hitting, like, a huge adversity comes into your life. Well, now you pay attention. And it's pretty much late, because we should be doing this all the time. But we're humans and we love the health stories first. So we were talking with Norman, like, I always incorporate the health story before the heaven story, because if you hook people to something negative, they can automatically relate to you. If you come there as a coach or a speaker, or it doesn't have to be a coach, in your work, and you're telling people, oh, I'm having an amazing life and I love my life and everything's going well and and everything's perfect, people don't believe you. Firstly, the first flag up you give to everyone else, and I know a couple of people who actually talk like this, and I know everyone says like, oh, that's just a BS. because we can't relate as a humans that somebody can be completely happy and healthy. And I'm not saying there are not people like that, but it's non-relatable. And we relate to people, you can get them. It's like, have you ever felt the pain where you felt like people don't understand you? They're not really seeing you for who you are. You talking to them and they're hearing something else, and you have to be justifying yourself all the time, almost arguing, well, that's not what I meant. Can you feel that? Have you felt that how hard it was to start your business and you thought that 9 to 5 a drop is an amazing idea, but actually you realize you start working 24/7 and have to chase your own clients and paying your own marketing? Have you ever actually paid so much money for your personal development investment, and your coach literally haven't really helped you, or you felt like you didn't get anywhere? You can relate. There's so many people who can relate to that. But if I tell everyone, like, oh my God, my life is just perfect, everything's perfect, I just live, like, people will be like, good for you, or not even relating to it. So really, we are humans. We're wired, like Norman says, we desire the success, but we're wired for failure. We're wired to see negative things first before we see something good. And even if the feng shui, like, I love what Norman mentioned about the W. Clement Stone, and I love that quote, like, find good in everything. Find good in everything. There's good in everything, even feng shui. The black part has a little white dot, and the white part has a little, because there's no 100% positivity. There isn't equally 100% negativity. But bless the adversity. How many of us are actually really feeling, oh my God, this happened, it's crazy, but something so amazing must come? Because law of polarity exists. And if you can shift your focus immediately into, thank you for this crazy adversity hitting my life and this challenge and whatever happened to me, because that means that my life is about to change in a ways like I've never seen before. If we can approach life and have this attitude and respond instead of reacting in when it happens, that's your go-to change completely. Back to you, Norm.
I totally agree. And I want to close it with one idea. If you use the topic from today to change your self-image, this is the key. But we will tell you more about it. We wish you a wonderful week. All the best, and we see you soon.
Thank you.